Worked. I forgot to start our YouTube feed. Okay, guys, so we're back to 60%. I might have to retry that. All right, so we're back on. So I apologize, anybody on YouTube. I forgot to start our YouTube feed, but welcome all the viewers on YouTube. Okay, guys, so that first drill, like I was saying, 25 seconds at 75%, then a 25-second surge that gets higher and higher and higher. So what we're trying to simulate here, it's something that we've done a few times in the PowerWatt studio, is we're trying to imagine as if you guys were riding on an indoor track. And an indoor track is 250 meters. And so if you're going pretty fast, you might cover that in 25 to 35 seconds or so. And what we're imagining that you guys are doing is like you're doing one lap at a active recovery pace, like 75%, and then one lap where you're pushing the effort to increase your speed. And then each time that you increase your speed, you want to increase it a bit more, bit by bit by bit. We've done a drill like this 2 or 3 times during the season, so some of you guys that come to all the PowerWatts classes, you may have seen that. So that's what we're trying to imagine. So you can kind of simulate that. Imagine each 25 seconds as if you're completing a lap, and then you're trying to kick up to a faster pace or back off to an active recovery pace without taking any complete recovery. So that's what we're going to be doing on that drill. Our second drill, it's a longer drill, and that one we're going to be doing a simulated climb. So unfortunately, a lot of you guys won't be able to put additional resistance against yourselves, but you can just go into harder gears and use lower cadences to simulate the demands of climbing. So what we're going to be doing is for 50 seconds, 50, you're going to be riding at an aerobic power of about 85% at a lower than normal sitting cadence. So like 65, 70, 75 RPM. And then periodically, there's going to be a 10-second standing acceleration. And then the idea on those 10-second standing accelerations is you basically just stay in the gear you're in. So say if you're sitting at 65, 70 RPM, you just stay in that gear. You get up out of the saddle, accelerate the watts up. We're going to be going to 120, 130, 140, 150 on the percent. And then you sit right back down to 85%. So it's a similar idea to the exercise before, except we're going to be using a low cadence all the way. And the emphasis is a little bit more on endurance and aerobic development because the low power is at 85% instead of at 75% like in the first exercise. Okay, guys, so now let's do our 30-second surge up to 85%. Choice power, choice cadence. So that second exercise, it's going to simulate the demands of climbing. And maybe you're climbing a hill that has periodically steeper segments where you got to accelerate to get through them. Our third exercise, most likely the most challenging exercise of the day. It's going to start off as the easiest, but then slowly become the most challenging. So let's go down to 70% for the next 2 minutes. So our third exercise, we have a bunch of 25-second drills again. So it's as if you're doing laps around the track, except that this time you guys are going to do your first lap at around 80%, and then each subsequent lap you want to increase your power output by 3%. So we're going to go 81, 80, 81, then 84, 87, 90. So the power is going to keep going up like that. So while the power is under 100% initially, it's going to feel pretty comfortable. However, in the second half of the drill, your power targets are going to be very high. There's going to be like 112, 115, 118, 121%. So it's just going to step up and up and up and up. So that drill kind of ties in what we were doing in the first 2 exercises where you had a really low power and then a really high power. This one's going to step us up slowly from the low power up and up and up to that high power. And the last, minute and a half of that exercise is going to be very, very challenging. So you guys will be ready to take that on by going into harder gears if you need to, or standing up if you need to, or maybe even some of you guys that do well at high cadence, at high power, you can even go to an easier gear and spin the legs a little bit more to get through that. So that's going to be the challenge of that third exercise. And then our final drill, we have a blended exercise where we're going to have a base power of around 75%. Then you guys are going to do a 1 minute effort at 90% at a specific cadence. And then we're going to back it off. And then you're going to do a 30-second effort at a specific power output. And then we're going to back it off. So we're going to have surges to different power outputs. And that's, again, it's another long exercise. So the emphasis on that one is a little bit more endurance. All right, guys, so up to 95% for 30 seconds here. So those are all the pieces of the workout that we're going to be doing today. Like I said, most of you are probably going to find the second half of that third drill to be the most challenging. Will it be as challenging as what you experienced in the 2 Minutes of Hell challenge workout? Maybe not quite that hard, but if you're coming in with a little bit of fatigue today, you might run into a bit of trouble. And if you can't make it all the way on that exercise, that's okay too. So let's go to 80% now for a minute. So I'll remind you guys of all this right before we start that drill. Okay, so we have 1 minute at 80%, and then our final 30 seconds is going to be at 105%, and then we take a little break. So for this 30-second surge to 105%, I want everyone just to put a little bit more force into the pedals for the first 3-4 seconds. Say to go, instead of going to 105%, go to like 130, 140%, but just for the first 3-4 seconds, just to practice giving that little push, which we're going to have to do in the first drill and the second drill. And then after that initial 3-4 seconds, ease your watts down to the target of around 105%. Standing or sitting, it's totally up to you. So we're going to start that in 10 seconds, guys. So get your weight, get your strength into the pedals for the first 3-4 seconds to really shoot those watts up. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. Good, so nice initial pop. So a couple more seconds, 20 more seconds here, so kind of ease it down to around the 105% now. Find what feels just right in terms of the cadence and the body position. Well done, Mean Gene and Miss Piggy. I could see the power. Miss Piggy, there is again a bit of a delay for your watts to go up. So keep that in mind for our shorter drills. You might have to start them 3 seconds early to account for that. All right, so 3 minutes of recovery. So well done, guys. Great start to the workout. Sting, how you doing so far?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Could you summon your son back in and then there we go. So there we go. So now we could see your face and your whole upper body. Fantastic. Great. So well done, Sting, on the warm up. All right, guys. So we got a little bit of recovery. So Mark, how you feeling so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Excellent.
Yeah. But I want to sing Baby Shark.
You want to sing Baby Shark?
Yeah, let's sing Baby Shark. Where's Gail?
You know, we actually have an expert singer on the line with us. Kindergarten teacher, Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy, do you want to sing Baby Shark for Mark?
Yeah, I can do that.
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
Mark, are you ready?
Yeah, he's ready.
Baby shark, mama shark, mama shark.
Wow, thank you for that, Miss Piggy. Mark is motivated now. I think his watts just went up by a solid 20 watts hearing that song. Miss Piggy, do the kids in school ask you to sing that?
Sometimes, but they modify it. Like they have their own version. It's really weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just change the words. It's funny.
And
so Gail, you're the expert singer of Baby Shark?
No. Sorted at this point already. Allow me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting song. I have a young daughter at home who hears it on occasion. When she hears it, though, she hears it actually. Elmo and Cookie Monster sing it, and it's Cookie Shark and Elmo Shark, among other things. So it's actually pretty funny. So Mark, just if you run into trouble at some point during the workout, just give me a thumbs up or something. We'll get Miss Piggy to sing Baby Shark to help you get through the difficulty. So, oh, you got to go now, Miss Piggy. All right, guys, so we're starting our first drill in 20 seconds. So remember, it's 25 seconds at 75%, 25 seconds at a higher power. The first higher power is 95%, and then it goes up by 10% each one. Imagine like you're on an indoor track, and each lap you are adjusting your power output to be higher and lower. Okay, so here we go, guys. So let's go to 75% watts. At the 75% watts, you could settle in at whatever power and cadence you want. But what you might want to try to do is find a different rhythm at 75% than what you use at the higher power. So you might choose to pedal a bit faster, pedal a bit slower, and then do the opposite at the higher power. So we're about to go to our first higher power. So 3, 2, 1, and up to 95%. So not a huge acceleration required here. You might just stay in the same gear and pedal a bit faster, or you might experiment with different tactics to find what feels best for you. So we got 10 more seconds, and something I want everyone to really focus on is slowly bringing the power from 95% down to 75%. So 3, 2, 1, and let's bring it down. Something else that you can imagine is if you guys were on a track bike, you can't stop pedaling, because the act of stop pedaling is like putting on the brakes. It's like when you were a kid and you had a BMX bike. So the key is when you're going from the high powers to the low powers, you got to keep pedaling, but just slowly bring your cadence down to bring the power back to the low power. Okay, so let's go back up to the high power, 105%. Choice body position, choice cadence. Still probably pretty comfortable because we already did this in the warm-up, 105%. And then when we go down to the 75, just imagine this idea that you're in a bike that you can't stop pedaling, that you have to just slowly ease that cadence down to 75%, to bring your watts down to 75%. So let's ease it down. All right, guys. Great stuff. So down to 75%. So good work thus far. And as we get higher, you might at some point, 115, I think everyone will still be okay sitting, but at some point you might feel the urge to get out of the saddle for the acceleration or for the full 25 seconds, and that's perfectly okay. We're not only focusing on sitting here. Okay, so let's go up to 115%, guys. So shoot those watts up, and then settle into 115. Another thing that you can envision here, if you think about that scenario of a track bike, as you put out higher power, you end up going faster, so there's a greater aerodynamic resistance against you. So 3, 2, 1, let's go down to 75%. With more aerodynamic resistance against you, there's a natural tendency to try to hide your frontal surface area a bit. So that could be just leaning forward a little bit more, or switching your hands down into the drops, whether you're sitting or standing. So that's something we could try at the higher powers. Decrease your frontal surface area, and then at the lower powers, ride however you want. So 3, 2, 1, and let's go to 125%, guys. And then think about, it could just be slight, could just be a little bit more bend in the elbows, or it could be a bigger change, like going from the hoods to the drops. Mean Gene, you can even try a bit of aero position at some point and see how that goes. So a couple more seconds. So 3, 2, 1. So keep the foot pressure. Ease those watts down to 75%. And you could choose a more comfortable body position if you want. Did your Miss Piggy, did your computer go to sleep?
It still does it, but I don't know why, because it's like I took off the sleeping mode.
Okay, okay, guys, so let's go up to 135%. So at some point, Miss Piggy, I'll take remote control of your computer and adjust the setting for you. So let's go up to 135, guys. So now it's taking a little bit more oomph to get those watts up. So Mean Gene, Miss Piggy, great power output, guys. Keep it up, Mark and Gail. And Sting out of the saddle. Well done, Sting. Okay, and now let's slowly bring it down to 75. Keep that focus on that 75% just as much as on the high power. So we got 2 high powers left. These ones are definitely more punchy efforts, having to go to 145 and then 155. So I suggest you guys overshoot the acceleration and then slowly ease your watts down to 145 over the first 5-10 seconds. So 3, 2, 1. So punch down into those pedals, guys. Good, nice accelerations. Good way to be, Professor. Keep that up, Professor. And then focus on that power and let it kind of come down bit by bit until you get to that 145%. Really starting to get tough now. Way to be, Mark. Keep it up. Great effort. So ease it down to 75%. Okay, try to keep that foot pressure here. We got one more surge. In our final surge, it's a really challenging 155%, but then we get a 3-minute rest period. Okay, so in order to ensure your success, guys, you got to start quick. So give a quick and powerful acceleration to get this underway. So here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1, and quick starts. Let's go. Good, nice work, guys. Great acceleration, Mean Gene. And now Mean Gene in the arrow position. Way to be, Mark. Keep it up. Excellent work, Gail. Miss Piggy and Professor Ryan Strong. Nice work, Sting. So a couple more seconds, guys. I want to give another acceleration now. And now back it off. All right, so 3 minutes of recovery. Wow, nice work, guys. Nice efforts on that one. Definitely got pretty challenging near the end. So, Mark, looks like you're working really hard. When did that one get hard for you? The last 2 reps or so?
No, just I sweat a lot.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a fan on?
I have spray on sweat.
Oh, yeah. It's just for that look, you know. It's like at a photo shoot, you know, they spray wetness, I think, on the models and stuff like that. So great work, Mark. Gail, how did you find those efforts?
Last one was challenging.
Last one was challenging? Were you up out of the saddle on that one?
Up out of the saddle until like 20 seconds, and then I tried to hang on sitting down, but I wasn't at 300
Okay.
anymore.
But you were close.
70 to 80.
And could you angle your screen down just a touch? Then, if possible, then I could see a little bit more, because I only see like the top of your head, so then I have a better idea what body position and stuff you're in.
Let's see.
Yeah, there, yeah, and that'd be, yeah, there we go. So now I'll have a better idea of how you're riding. Fantastic. Thanks for that, Gail.
Thank you.
And Mean Gene, how did you find that effort?
Good. Good to get the kinks out of the legs.
And any discomfort in the quads, or just general fatigue from? Yeah. Probably still haven't.
Could you see that I was standing in the arrow position?
Yes, I could. I could see that. You would be really going fast, definitely standing at that power output in the arrow position. So good work, Mean Gene. I think you prefer standing in the arrow position almost. It allows you to distribute your weight differently onto the bike.
Yeah.
Oh, good work. And Miss Piggy and Professor, how did you guys find that effort?
And the last one was hard.
And do you think the Professor was working hard enough? Because I know he doesn't have power. Do you think he was doing a good job, Miss Piggy?
Yeah.
I just plan to use all the gear I have. So the last third, I use the maximum gear I have in the back. So.
Okay, great. Good plan. All right, guys. So, and Sting, I'm sure you feel good. How was that for you, Sting?
It was the last effort. That was tough.
Just the last one? Okay, guys. So we're about to start our next one. So it starts off at 80% watts here. And remember, we're trying to simulate a little bit the demands of climbing a hill. So you want to go somewhere between 65 and 80 RPM. So somewhere a bit lower than normal for your cadence. So take 10-15 seconds here to bring it up to 80%, and then take a look at your cadence and adjust your gears so that you're between 65 and 80 on the RPM. After the 50 seconds, we have a 10-second standing surge. The first one is to 120%, and what I want you guys to try to do is not change your gears during that 10 seconds. So say if you're sitting right now at 70 RPM, when you stand up, just stay in the gear you're in and practice increasing your standing cadence in order to get to that power output. There's a couple tricks I can give you guys to do that. Let's just get the first one done and see how everybody feels. Okay, so the first 10 seconds, standing acceleration in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Good, nice work. Way to be, Mark, to get out of the saddle. Just be careful with the knees, of course. All right, and now sit back down, and let's ease those watts back down to around 80%, and we want to be, again, at that bit of that grinding cadence, 65 to 80 RPM. So this will choose the cadence depending on your RPM comfort zone. If you normally ride at 85 RPM, go closer to 65 so you really feel like it's low. But if you're like a 100 RPM rider, 95 RPM rider, even 80 RPM will feel low. So that could be a good challenge. Good. So this is good stuff, guys. So now what's going to happen on each of the 10-second accelerations, the power target's going to get higher. We're going to go 130, 140, 150. And when we reach 150, all of them are going to be at 150%. Okay, so let's get ready for our 130% surge in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Try not to change the gears, just bring the cadence up. If you find the cadence gets too high, for the next one, use a lower cadence leading into the standing. All right, good work, guys. So nice accelerations at the 130%. And practice working that cadence. So Gail, you can sit down now, actually. Yeah, there you go. Excellent. And now something you guys could try, if you feel like the standing cadence is starting to get a little bit higher, you could change your focus from pushing down on the pedals. Like when you first get out of the saddle, your first 2-3 pedal strokes, you'll probably be pushing down. You could switch your focus to lifting your knees up towards the handlebars. Oftentimes when you focus on that knee drive, you'll be able to spin your legs a little bit faster. And by spinning your legs faster, that'll help get the power output to go up. So think about the knee drive on this one and see how you feel. Just as an experiment. So 3, 2, 1, and stand up. Give a couple pushes, 2-3 pushes. And now focus on the knee drive upwards towards those handlebars. And just reflect on how it feels. And now let's go right back to 80%. So that just gives you guys a slightly different option that you can experiment with when the cadence gets a little bit higher. Another option that you guys have is to actually take your body. So when you do the knee drive, it's helpful to have your body in a more upright position. But say if you prefer to bend over a little bit more. If you're bent over more and you move forward a little bit closer to the handlebars, you can think about sweeping the bottom of the pedal stroke a little bit more. That's another option to help you spin those legs a little bit faster. It's similar to the high cadence tricks when you're sitting, except now we're going to do it standing. So think about bending forward a little bit more, moving your knees forward a bit closer to the handlebars, and more power through the bottom of the pedal stroke. So 3, 2, 1, and snap it up, guys. And when you focus on the bottom of the pedal stroke, it's a different feel. So just get used to that feel. You'll see if you like it or not. Okay, so let's ease it down. Great. So we practiced the knee drive style. We practiced the sweeping the bottom of the pedal stroke style. So those are kind of two extremes. Now we got 4 reps left. So you guys can continue to experiment between those two techniques. Try the next one, for example, using the knee drive. And try the one after that, sweeping through the bottom of the pedal stroke more. And then do the last 2 based on your choice. And it's interesting to practice these techniques because you might discover different muscles that you haven't been using when you guys are standing up. So everyone, keep that 80%. Keep that slightly lower than normal cadence. Keep grinding away a little bit as if you're going up a hill. And so now we're going to be standing up at 150%. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Get that cadence up. And now think about that knee drive. Driving the knees up towards the handlebars to get that power output. Wow, Sting, great standing cadence. Mark, very nice. Gail, great standing cadence. Great work, guys. So let's ease it down. Mean Gene and Miss Piggy, another really solid standing effort. So right back to 80%, guys. And so on this next one, try hinging forward a little bit more from the hips. And focus on sweeping through the bottom of that pedal stroke just a little bit more. Trying to access different muscle groups as we're going here. Good, so keep that up, Mean Gene. Just ease those watts up a smidge. Good work, Miss Piggy. You got the power and you got that low cadence. And Sting, Gail, and Mark, all you guys are looking like you're working that low cadence very nicely. So next acceleration, same power target, about 150%. So you know what to expect in terms of the power. Let's see if you can access slightly different muscles. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. Great, nice initial accelerations. Nice way to be, Professor and Miss Piggy. All right, so ease it down. 65 to 80 on the RPM. So we have 2 more standing surges left, and I want you guys to use whatever tactic you think feels best for you, knowing that we've just practiced 2 different ones, so you might use some combination thereof, or you might use something completely different in order to succeed on the accelerations. Just like we practiced in the last acceleration of the warm-up, I want everyone to put more effort into the first 3 to 5 seconds of the 10 seconds to really shoot the watts up, and then in the second half, maybe the watts will ease down towards 150. But practice getting out of the saddle, quickly getting your power and your strength and your body weight into those pedals to shoot the watts up. So here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1, and shoot yourself into the pedals. Yeah, Mark, Gail, way to be, guys. So wow, Gail, great cadence. Keep that up, Mean Gene. Great standing position. Well done, Miss Piggy, Sting, and Professor. Professor, wow, great standing cadence. Let's ease it down to 80%. And we have one more. Just keep that foot pressure, guys. Keep it up, Mean Gene. Keep it up, Miss Piggy. And so our final one, standing 10 seconds. Same thing, really explosive off the start of the standing. And then you kind of cruise at 150 the rest of the way. Cruise probably is not the right word because it's going to maybe feel a little bit harder than that. But let's put more energy into the first few seconds in that initial acceleration. After this, guys, 3-minute recovery period, and then we do a completely different drill that doesn't have quick acceleration. So let's really work this last one, develop that skill and that technique of acceleration. So here we go, guys. Get your momentum. And 3, 2, 1, and throw yourself into the pedals. Yeah, great transition to standing, Mean Gene. Keep it up, guys. Well done, Sting. Keep working that 150%. All right, and let's back it off. Super job, guys. 3 minutes of recovery. So a little bit more endurance-oriented on that one with those efforts at 80% at the low cadence and the surges to access those fast-twitch muscle fibers and maybe simulate a bit the demands of coming through a steeper section of a hill. So well done, guys. So Sting, how did you find that exercise?
Not too bad, because I was allowed to stand.
Now you're probably going to have to spend some time on this next drill standing too, especially right near the end of it. Overall, did you find the first exercise a little bit more challenging than the second, or about the same?
I forget the first.
Oh, perfect. There you go. You have that endurance athlete's mentality of quickly forgetting what happened so that you forget the suffering.
I want to say I was swearing more during the first, so I think this one was easier.
You swear, Sting. Maybe I should keep your mic unmuted at all times so we can hear it.
No, I don't think you want that.
Well done. So, Mean Gene, how did you find this effort with those standing surges?
Good. I mean, 10 seconds. You can do anything in 10 seconds.
That's true. That's true. I really like the way that you were throwing yourself into the pedals at the start of those 10 seconds. I was able to see how quickly your watts spiked, so that was really well done. So good technique there, Mean Gene. Mark, how did you find the standing? Any issues with the knees
good.
or anything?
It was good. I felt good.
Excellent. Excellent. Great work on the standing. You had a good position, and I liked how you were transitioning from the sit to the stand. There was no waste of energy there, so that was well done. And Gail, how did you find that effort?
I like it because psychologically, I know it's only 10 seconds, so I'm willing much more to gamble on position and just trying out different things because I know it's just 10 seconds. So I think I learned something, like just your little tip about driving your knees forward, like with your body position a little bit more forward. My power went so much higher, faster. I was like, whoa, what happened, you know?
Oh, wow, fantastic. I'm glad that ended up being effective for you. It's amazing all the different pedaling techniques there are when you experiment.
Yeah, and it's also different being on my bike versus the Power Watts bike in the studio, you know? Like the forward position is really different on my bike here versus the Power Watts bike.
So that's something when we return to the studio, we could take the measurements off of your bike and try to make your Power Watts bike a little bit closer to your home bike to maintain that feel between the two.
Maybe it'll give me an advantage.
Yeah, maybe, exactly. Okay, guys, so we're about to start our next drill. So it starts off pretty comfortable. We're going to start off basically where we just left off at around 80%. And every 25 seconds, we're going to go up by 3%. Okay, so the first 25 seconds here is just to get settled in. So take 10, 15 seconds to build yourself up to 81%. And now what you want to imagine is as if you're back again on the track, and each lap is taking you about 25 seconds to do. And each time that you cross the start-finish line, you have to ever so subtly increase the amount of pressure you put into the pedal. So now let's go up to 84%. So this is a great way to develop something called pedal stroke feel. Oftentimes in our drills like the ones we just did, we bounce from a low power like 70% to a high power like 120. So we kind of miss the subtleties of the power increases in between that. So that's what this drill is really focused on. So now we're going to do another 3% increase. So try to become aware of how much you have to increase your foot pressure or how much you have to increase your cadence in order to make a small increase like 3%. And also the other thing you could pay attention to is when this drill goes from comfortable to comfortably hard to very hard, where the inflection point is for you, because we're going to slowly build up to an anaerobic power and it's going to be very hard near the end. But right now, hopefully it's still pretty comfortable. So we're at 90%. Those of you guys that really depend on your standing for high power output, you're going to have to use it in this drill, especially near the end. So sit for as long as you can, and then when you start to struggle with the power targets, get up out of the saddle, and when you stand up, you can't sit back down. Stay standing the rest of the way. So let's go to 93%. Because imagine if you stand up at like 113% and then you try to sit down at 116, it probably is going to lead to a decrease in power instead of an increase. So when you choose to standing, commit to standing until the end of the drill. So we're still kind of at an aerobic power. We're about to switch into what's called a threshold power. So 96%. So the comfortable might start to become comfortably hard at this point. And then it'll probably get hard when we get around 110% or a little bit more than that. The total duration of this drill is 6 minutes and 40 seconds. We're almost halfway through it. And the real action in this drill is in the final third or final 1/4 of the drill. Good, so nice increases. So another subtle increase, 99%, right around your 20-minute max power here. Everyone's still sitting. Everybody looks comfortable, which is excellent. And now we're going to start burning some matches, guys. As we go over 100% here, you'll definitely feel that challenge increase. But for as long as possible, make it feel comfortable. So 3, 2, 1, up to 102%. As it gets more challenging, try not to get sloppy with your increases. Continue to practice that very subtle increase in power or cadence to go up by 3% rather than jacking it up by 10 or 15% and then easing it back down. Continue working on that subtlety of pedaling like you guys have been doing up to this point. All right, guys, so now up to 105%. Nice riding. Good work, Mark. Way to be. Great position, Gail. Nice cadence. Keep that up, Mean Gene. Mean Gene, Miss Piggy, right around 90 on the RPM. Way to be, guys. Well done, Professor. Sting, nice body position. Nice power output here. Keep it up, guys. So 3, 2, 1. So up to 108. Power getting a little bit more challenging. Everyone's doing a great job in terms of the control here. Do your best to try to take some tension out of the face, neck, shoulders, elbows here. And if you try to loosen up and you can't, you can hold that tension until the end because there's not a ton of time to go. But if you can release that tension, that would be helpful. All right, guys, so now 111. 111. Good, so Professor's up, Gail's up. Good, way to be, Gail. So stay standing like that, guys. If you need to go into harder gear as the power goes up, that's okay. So well done, Sting, Mean Gene, and Mark. So we're about to go to 114. So we have 114, 117, and then 120 left. Okay, guys, 114. 114. So Miss Piggy is up as well. So keep it up, Miss Piggy. Great focus, Gail and Professor. Professor, really bring that level of effort up. Miss Piggy, make sure you tell Professor how hard it is for you on a 10-point scale so he brings his level of effort up to the same point. Keep it up, Mark. Way to work that power output, Mark. Keep it up, Mean Gene. Okay, 117, guys. 117. We're in the last minute here. Good, so Sting out of the saddle. Well done, Mean Gene. Way to be, Mark, out of the saddle. So get through this one, guys, and then in that final 25 seconds, you can kind of ignore the power and just put full force into the pedals to try to survive it. So here we go, guys. Everyone give it your best shot. Last 25 seconds. 120%. Way to be, Gail. Yeah, great stuff, Mark. See if you can stay standing until the end. Keep it up, Mean Gene. Great power. Well done, Miss Piggy. Nice work, Sting. All the way, guys. Everyone pedal a bit faster in the gear you're in to hang on until the end. Wow, great power, Miss Piggy and Mean Gene. So 3, 2, 1, and let's back it off. Wow, very nice work, guys. Excellent drill. Very different type of focus. Not having those lower powers in between. Having just to escalate more and more and more on the effort. So well done. So Sting, you managed to keep a pretty stoic look on your face the whole time. I didn't see any curse words. How'd you find that one, Sting?
It was just the last two powers that, like, I felt.
So you're pretty comfortable up until the last two. So that's good. That's good. And then you stood up for the last two, but before that you were okay sitting?
Yeah, and even the second last standing was okay.
All right, excellent. Great work, Sting, showing great fitness there. So Miss Piggy and Professor, how did you guys feel on that effort?
Mark, I love this.
You love it.
Gosh, I love it.
I like it too, but it's not easy, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you love it, Miss Piggy. It's definitely an interesting challenge to do. Why do you love it so much?
Because you only focus like, what was it, 20 seconds at a time?
25.
Okay, one, and then you just push a bit harder, a bit harder, and then you have to stand, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm almost done.
And I guess the key question, Miss Piggy, is were you singing Baby Shark in your head the whole time?
Yeah, I was at the part where it says Papa Shark.
Oh, Papa Shark. Well done, guys. So Mean Gene, how did you find that effort?
Good. Yeah. It's so doable when you just go up a couple of watts.
You really paced yourself well because I was able to see your power output and got hard maybe on the last three efforts?
Yeah.
All right. So well executed, Mean Gene. Excellent work on the cadence and the body position. Gail, how did you find that effort?
The last two, very tough.
Last two very tough, so like 9 out of 10 tough or more?
Yeah. The last one, hanging on for dear life, tough, you know?
Okay.
It's just, I can't tell you what watts I was at, but I don't know.
I think you put the effort in, so you're going to get the intended training benefits, that's for sure. So well done, Gail. And Mark, how'd you find that effort?
It was good. It was good. The last two were tough.
Last two were tough, so I think everybody's in agreement about the difficulty of those last two. But tremendous work from everybody, guys. Well done. Definitely lots of training benefits that you get from that one. So now our final exercise, we're back to fluctuating between lower and higher powers. This time we're going to start off at 75%. So let's go up to 75%, guys, for 45 seconds. Okay, so here we go. So the way this drill is going to work is we have 45 seconds at 75%. And then we have 50 seconds, 50 at 95%. The 95% is going to have a cadence target. So the first cadence target we have is 85 RPM. And then if you guys look at the workout profile, like right underneath me or on your screen, we have two other efforts at 95% for 50 seconds. And the challenge there is each time the cadence target's going to get higher. So we're going to go 85, 95, and then 105. So those powers are going to stay the same. So we're about to do our first 95% effort. So quickly get up to 95% and then take about 10-15 seconds to get as close to 85 RPM as you can. Kind of imagine like you're in studio playing the target game. That way you're really focused on just trying to find that right gear ratio to get the power and the cadence. The good thing about the target game that we play is it really develops quick gearing adjustments, so you can imagine that to develop that particular skill set here. So the challenge of these 90%, or 95% I mean, is right now we're at 85, the second one's at 95 RPM, and the third one's going to be at 105 RPM. So good work on the power and the cadence. Okay, so we got a couple more seconds. So 3, 2, 1, and down to 75%. Now settle back in at 75%, learning how to do active recovery here. And now we have back to our favorite time duration of today's workout, 25 seconds. So we have a 25-second standing acceleration to 120%. So that's where you finished off the last exercise. The difference here is after this 120, you don't get recovery. You go back to 75% so that we develop your aerobic system and teach your body how to recover from a surge like this without needing to take a complete break. So they're standing accelerations, guys. So you got to stand for the whole 25. Change gears however you need, though. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Good. So good start. You can experiment with the different tactics that we played with during the 10-second acceleration. You might even do the first 10 seconds using one tactic and the second 15 seconds using a different tactic. Good. Nice standing position, Mark. Keep that up. Way to be. So 3, 2, 1, and let's ease it down to 75%. So great stuff, guys. So there's 2 more of those 25-second efforts as part of this exercise, and the power is going to escalate on each one of those. So the power target on the next standing one, the power target on the next one is 125%, but the challenge is you have to do it sitting. And then the final one, the power target's 130%, and we're going to be up doing it standing again. So that's what's to come. So you guys have an idea of what's to come, but the next thing to focus on, 95%, 95 on the RPM. As the legs are getting tired here, you might find the 95 RPM target pretty challenging. So quickly get that cadence up. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So 95%, 95 on the RPM. Imagine like you're doing a target segment in terms of the level of precision. Good, nice work, guys. Could get a pretty good estimate of how fast everyone's pedaling by just taking a look at the leg speed of everyone's videos. So let's keep it up at that 95%. Another thing, something you could do at this point is just do a quick spot check of your tension in your body. Relax the face, neck, shoulders, elbows. Try to take a breath that slows the breathing down just a little bit. So 3, 2, 1, and let's ease it down. 95% is not easy, guys. Keep it up, Mean Gene. It's not easy, but you want to teach yourself to be comfortable with that level of discomfort. Or as James was talking on Saturday, you just don't care anymore that it's uncomfortable. That's kind of the way you have to approach a power output like 95%. Okay, so now next one. 25 seconds at 125%. So anaerobic surge. This time the surge is going to be done sitting. So I think a couple of you will be happy about that. Mean Gene, Mark probably going to prefer doing it sitting. But Miss Piggy, Professor Sting, and Gail, you guys are going to have to really focus on the sitting power output here. So 3, 2, 1, and give it your best shot, guys. Good way to be. Really trying to get your full weight into the pedals, especially those of you guys that have the urge to stand. Kind of go forward on the saddle and let most of your weight fall into the pedals as if you were standing, but while your hips are still on the saddle. All right, and let's go back to 75%. Fantastic. All right, so this next effort is going to be quite challenging. 95%, 105 on the RPM. I mean, Sting, I think you've settled into a natural cadence, probably close to 100, but I think everyone else, their natural cadence is a little bit lower. So this 105 RPM is going to be pretty challenging. A trick: do the first 10 seconds at like 120 RPM, even if you can't quite get to the power, and then go one gear harder. That way you overspin for the first little bit, and then when you go one gear harder, you're going to feel like you're pedaling more slowly. Okay, and that plays with the feel of 105 RPM, makes it feel a bit easier. So 3, 2, 1, and shoot up that cadence, guys. Working the leg speed here, even if you can't quite hit the power output because of accumulated fatigue, that's fine. Work the leg speed, practicing the different pedal stroke techniques at the high cadence. Miss Piggy and Mean Gene, way to be. Mean Gene, you can even ease those watts down a smidge. Excellent work, Mark. Way to be, Gail. Keep that up. Nice work, Sting. Good work, Professor. So this is the last time we're at 95%. So practice staying relaxed in your mind here. Keep it up, Gail. You're doing great. You're doing great. And after this, I want everyone to stay really focused on riding at 75%. Some of you might want to stand up for the 75% just to mix up the muscle groups a bit. So 3, 2, 1, and 75%. Trying to keep that foot pressure. Good, great transition. Miss Piggy, almost there, Mean Gene. Yeah, there you go, Mean Gene. Keep it up, Gail. Keep it up, Mark. Keep it up, Sting. And now we have our final effort coming up. 25 seconds. Standing. So everyone gets to stand. Power target 130%. But everybody might as well just give it their all on this one. Putting everything you got into this final 25 seconds. Approach it like an aggressive rider segment in the stage race, guys, where you go real hard for the first 5 to 10 seconds. And then the power might peter off a bit near the end. But give it that quick start. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. Shoot it up. So standing all the way, you can work that knee drive. You can work driving down and through the bottom of the pedal stroke, but keep doing what you're doing. So here we go. We got 10 seconds left. So just focus on spinning your legs faster in the gear you're in, and I'll tell you when it's done. So everyone just pedal faster, pedal faster. Keep it up. 3, 2, 1, and we are done. And back it off, guys. Wow. What efforts. Nice work, guys. What a finish to the exercise. Definitely a lot of accumulated fatigue leading into that last drill. And especially with the addition of those higher cadences to 95%, I think we really brought everybody's effort level up a notch on that one. So, Gail, you look like you were working really hard on that one. How'd you feel on that drill? Cooked?
Better. No, I don't know. It's variety, so you can get your head around doing what the interval is for that period of time. I think.
And did you find the 50 seconds at 90% more challenging, or the 25-second surges more challenging?
25-second surges.
Okay. So I guess your legs were robbed of a bit of pop from all the stuff we've done earlier in the workout. Well, that's great, Gail. I'm glad you're able to do well on those 50-second efforts especially. Shows that you have a good endurance and that you can keep working on that anaerobic power. And there might be a big technical element to it, like you discovered a new standing technique today. So play around with that, and that'll really help at those high-end powers. So great ride, Gail. So, Sting, how did you find that last exercise?
It was good, actually. I like that I can stand. So
Yeah,
if I can stand, life is good.
Life is good. And how did you feel at the sitting high cadence?
It was okay, actually. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, good. Great stuff. Great stuff, Sting. I mean, really good effort.
What I find tough is it's not my bike, and the gears are different. So I'm all over with my gears.
Are you on Lou's bike?
I'm on Fitzy Lou's bike.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put my bike on the trainer.
Sting, you know that you're a very small person when you fit on the bike of your youngest son.
Hey, he's taller than me now.
He's taller than you now. Oh,
yes.
My goodness.
Yep.
you're gonna have to get you're gonna have to figure out a way to grow taller, Sting. I don't know, maybe more bone broth and hanging
I
from a
know.
bar or something like that.
I know. It's just not right. It's just not right.
not right. Well, way to be, Sting. Great work. So, Miss Piggy, how did you find that last exercise?
It was the hardest by far.
The hardest by far. Okay.
Oh, yeah, like I couldn't catch my breath.
So you found the 75% just as challenging as the surges.
Yeah. But the hardest was the 95.
Okay, so the longer efforts with those cadence targets were a bit more challenging. Well, that's great work, though, Miss Piggy. You definitely worked hard to pull it off. Professor, how did you find that last exercise?
The last one wasn't too bad, but the one I found the hardest one?
Which one?
The beginning, the first search at the beginning.
The 25 seconds high-low.
Yeah, and after it went a little bit easier, moderate, and at the end, moderate.
Okay, so there you go. So keep working on those surges, Professor, especially the outdoor riding that you're doing. Practice surging up some of those little hills around your house. That'll be great practice. So great stuff, guys. So, Mark, how did you find that final drill?
I don't remember anything.
Like a true endurance athlete, gone from memory already. But I can tell you, it looked like you were working really hard. You were putting the effort in, so you will get the training benefits. And I'm glad you've already forgotten about it.
Great workout. Great workout.
So way to be, Mark. So thanks so much for joining in again. Really great to have you in class. So great work. And Mean Gene, how did you find that final exercise?
Good. I liked the variability of it.
And do you agree with Miss Piggy in terms of you found that one to be the most challenging for you, or was something else more challenging?
The first set of intervals were the hardest for me, I think.
Okay, so like the Professor, those 25 seconds acceleration and recover.
Yeah, maybe
So-
it just wasn't warmed up enough.
Yeah, well, that's a good possibility. That's a good possibility for Professor as well. Sometimes when the first drill is the hardest, you just need a bit of extra time to warm up, especially if you've done a lot of training in the last few days. You need a bit longer to warm up for these drills. A lot of the pros that Paulo works with, they do warm-ups of 60, 90 minutes before they start any of their quality work because the accumulated fatigue they have requires a longer warm-up.
I totally can do that, Mark. You know me.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you would love to do that. Well, thanks to you guys for joining. So another great workout. Really well done. Different training focus today with the different types of efforts we were doing. So I'm really glad to have all of you guys joining. So the next Power Watts at Home live session that we're going to be doing is going to be Saturday at 9 a.m. if any of you guys want to join in. We have some additional sessions that are going to be coming up that I know Sting and Gail are going to be participating in. And if there's any additional ones, I'll be sure to let you guys know. If anybody watching on YouTube, on Facebook is interested in some extra sessions, you could private message us and tell us what times you might be interested in, and we'll be able to maybe have you join in on some additional sessions that we're doing at the moment. So thanks to everybody for joining in on YouTube, on Facebook Live. So I'm going to be stopping the stream and hopefully to see you guys on Saturday.